Hi, first graders. I'm just about to start thinking about getting to bed. So I just want to show you, first of all, this is a book that Annabelle and Sawyer and I are reading. It's called Tumble and Blue. It's one of the Sasquatch readers. So we're really excited to be reading that book. But the book that I'm going to be reading with you is Polar Bears Past Bedtime. And we're going to start with chapter 2. We left off and Jack and Annie found out that they were going to be heading somewhere. And Morgan Le Fay was there to help them figure out that they were going to the Arctic. So here we go. Chapter 2 is called The Howling. The air was crisp and cold. Jack and Annie shivered. They looked out the window at a dark gray sky. The treehouse was on the ground. There were no trees and no houses. Only an endless field of ice and snow. Morgan and the owl were gone. Read the riddle, said Annie, her teeth chattering. Jack unrolled the scroll. He read, I cover what's real and hide what's true, but sometimes I bring out the courage in you. What am I? I'd better write it down, said Jack, shivering. He pulled out his notebook and copied the riddle. Then he opened the book. He found a picture of a barren white field. He read aloud. The Arctic tundra is a treeless plain. During the dark winter, it is covered with snow and ice. In early spring, snow falls, but the sky begins to get lighter. During the summer season, the snow and ice melt, and the sun shines 24 hours a day. It must be early spring now, said Jack. There's snow, but the sky is a little light. He turned the page. There was a picture of a man wearing a hooded coat with fur trim. Look at this guy, said Jack. He showed Annie the picture. We need his coat, said Annie. Yeah, said Jack. Listen to this. He read aloud. This seal hunter wears sealskin clothing to protect him from icy winds. Before modern times, native people of the Arctic lived by hunting seals, caribou, polar bears, and whales. Jack took out his notebook. He wrote, The Arctic. Seal hunters wear seal skin. You can see his notes down here at the bottom. He was too cold to write any more. He clutched his pack against his chest and blew on his fingers. He wished he were back home in bed. Morgan said someone was coming to meet us, said Annie. If they don't come soon, we'll freeze to death, said Jack. It's getting darker and colder. Shh, listen, said Annie. A howling sound came from the distance. Then more howling sounds, and more. What's that? Said Jack. They looked out the window. Snow was falling now. It was hard to see. The howling grew louder. What do you think it is? It was mixed with yipping and yelping noises. Jack and Annie saw dark shapes coming through the snow. They seemed to be running toward the treehouse. Wolves? Said Annie. Oh, great. That's all we need, said Jack. We're freezing, and now a pack of wolves is coming for us. Jack pulled Annie into the corner of the treehouse. They huddled close together. The howling got louder and louder. It sounded as if the wolves were circling the treehouse. They whined and yelped. Jack couldn't stand it any longer. He grabbed the Arctic book. Maybe this can help us, he said. He searched for a picture of wolves. Oh, hi, Annie said. Jack looked up. He caught his breath. A man was looking through the treehouse window. His face was surrounded by fur. It was the seal hunter from the Arctic book. That's the end of chapter 2. Interesting. You know, we talk often about the character of Annie and Jack and how adventurous Annie is and how cautious Jack is. And I feel like Mary Pope Osborne showed us once again that Jack is a little bit cautious. He grabbed his sister into the corner and they huddled there to stay safe. That was really awesome. And Annie taking a few more chances. When she sees the man come to the window, she says hi to him. Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed chapter 2 of Polar Bears Past Bedtime. I miss reading these books to you in person, but I'm happy to have the opportunity to read these to you every night. So tomorrow we'll read chapter 3. And I kind of want you guys to vote. There's a couple books that I want to read in addition to the nightly reading. So we have City Dog, City Frog. Should we read this one first? Or should we read Chester? So these are 2 of our star stories. We usually have our star story in addition to our read aloud, and we haven't been able to do that. So I just thought, why not? Why not do our star story? So go to Seesaw and vote. Should we first start with City Dog, Country Frog, which by the way is by Mo Willems. So if that maybe piques your interest a little bit, one of our favorite authors. And then this book is Chester, and I just love the illustration on the front. The cat is holding the pen. Very interesting. And at the bottom it says by Melanie West, and it's crossed out with red pen and says by Chester. Seems like maybe that cat's in charge. So go on to Seesaw and vote. Should we start with Chester or should we start with City Dog, Country Frog? All right, you guys have a good night, and I'll see you bright and early for phonemic awareness in the morning. Bye-bye.